Hey everybody, it's Total Gamer Junkie and I welcome you all back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining why Clementine won't be dying in episode 4. Now, originally, due to the choices that you saw, that I made the video back when after episode 1 came out, I made a theory saying that Clementine's death, might be optional. I now believe, with 100% certainty, that her death, won't happen. Why? Well, that's what I'm going to explain in this video. Now, there's a big hype going on, like Clementine was in a car accident just like Lee was. Clementine's taking care of AJ just like Lee did for her. And your choices affect, like, how they end up in that. Even right now, AJ had the choice. Clem had the choice to, like, what did AJ promise her? To either run away or shoot her. That mirrors, it's basically mirroring, episodes from season 1. Clem had to shoot Lee or leave him. So we're going to find out, well, you're going to find out why I believe that it's not going to happen. And to start, we're going to have to look back here at season 2. Now, what exactly does season 2 have to do with the final episode of The Walking Dead, you might be asking? Like, why am I showing this old footage? And this footage is from my video, by the way. All this footage here is in my videos. So here's, like, I'm gonna have to break this down. Like, it's not gonna be, it might be easy for some of you, but it might not be, and you might think I'm talking out my ass, but, like, I've been doing a lot of research on this because I wanted to make a good theory video. So here we go. Now, episode 2 of season 2 saw the return of Kenny. Now, I honestly thought Lily was gonna be making the return because I thought Kenny died, but I was so happy, like, can't even tell you. Because back then, I didn't have internet. I had to wait for the discs to come out, but I did watch the episodes on the internet, you know, when they were uploaded. Okay, so one of the choices that they do here early on is they pit Luke and Kenny against each other in a sort of way. Like right here, you can choose. You can tell Kenny that they're cool, or you can say, like, tell everyone to calm down, be neutral, or you can say I can't speak for all of them. It even goes like, now this seems like, when you first play it seems like a minor choice, but as the episodes go on, the choices become more and more, you know, difficult to make in some opinions. Like, well, not difficult, but you know that the choices that they're making, the writers are purposely trying to put a wedge between Clem and one person. Either Luke, the new person that she's with, or Kenny, her old friend. Like, you can't choose to sit alone. You have to sit with one of them, and that leaves the other one feeling bad. Like, even here, Kenny asks Clementine, does she trust Luke? And you can choose one of these options. If you choose to sit with Luke, the same options come up. If you say, what do you call it, I trust him, about Luke and Kenny, they both will respond to with your life, because they obviously don't trust each other. Now this choice right here that's coming up really, like, puts that wedge right there, and you can tell, like, because I knew from this choice that things were going to escalate between Kenny and Luke. Kenny tells Clem that she can stay there, and how the group will leave tomorrow. Now this is one of the things I really like, because you never really like, this hasn't really been done with other Telltale games, not to this degree. I mean, look at Lewis and Violet in the final season. You had to choose, do you want to go fishing with Violet and Brody, or go hunting with Lewis and the Sim? Now, if you choose one of them, the other one will feel discouraged that you didn't go with them. Just like in episode 2, when you hang with one of them, the other one will feel discouraged. And, like, it's kind of like, it's not as good as what's happening here, but it's the same premise basically. So we see here, Luke's, what do you call it? You can choose to side with Luke or Kenny, and that's basically what season 2 is mostly about, in my opinion. It's pitting Luke and Kenny against one another, and you gotta decide who do you want to side with. Your old friend who you haven't seen in a long time, or this new person. Like, basically, you know, I never liked Luke, in my opinion, after what he did. Like, I was like, fuck him. Then when Kenny came back, I was like, yeah, you know what, screw Luke, I got Kenny now, I don't need Luke. Because one of the things, I didn't really like is they made you care about characters that you didn't want to. That's what's so good about the final season. Like with Lewis, for example, in my first walkthrough, after he kicked us out, he was apologizing. I didn't want to accept his apology, and I could tell him to fuck off, which I did. I even let him get his tongue cut out. So, well, I didn't let him get his tongue cut out, but I didn't save him. I saved Violet, and so his tongue got cut out. Like even here with Carver, they try to trick you where it's like the choice is stay or go with Sarita, but really that's another option between Luke and Kenny. Because like, let's face it, it's really stupid here. Like, of course Carver had to die, otherwise he'd keep coming after you, and I didn't see why Luke couldn't see that. Even now, like, because at each part, each of them, both Kenny and Luke, are trying to sway Clem over to their side by saying that the other one isn't good. You know what I mean? Well, not like, you know, the other one's a detriment to the group, you know, like a danger. Like, and you can see from Luke's point of view, I can, like, understand, like, what Kenny did. Like, if Kenny would have just shot Carver, then yeah, this conversation they're having would be pointless. But he did bash him with a crowbar, which I loved, by the way. So yeah, I can understand that. But then you have, like, he's saying that's bad, but then he goes and sleeps with Jane. Okay, and that's not bad on its own, but like, he was supposed to keep a lookout, so you know, he made a mistake. And if you have Sarah with you, it ends up costing Sarah her life. And so basically that kind of makes him a hypocrite. If, like, he's saying Kenny's dangerous, but what he did was just as, like, dangerous. You know what I mean? And it's really just stupid. And so he, like, I honestly would have loved, like, to see Clementine blame Luke for Sarah's death. That would be a pretty good option. And in the last option coming up, you have to choose. Do you side with Kenny and decide to leave in the morning? Or say Rebecca needs rest and wait a few days. I assume it's 2 days, because that's what Rebecca says. Give me a day or two. So, yeah. So, basically, what happened, okay? We had all this build-up. We had all this tension. We had all these ideas about what was going to happen. Everyone thought Luke and Kenny were going to fight. But it didn't happen, okay? Instead, it was Kenny and Jane. So what happened? All that build-up just literally just got flushed down the toilet. What we were expecting, we didn't expect. And that's what, this is where it gets a little tricky now. Now, there are a few reasons as to why this didn't happen. Now, the first one was apparently episode 5 got leaked, and so it had to go through a rewrite. The second one was because it had a different writer. Now, for episode 1, 2, and 5, one of the main writers on it was Nick Brecken. He did episode 1, 2, and 5. I don't know why I'm saying that again. You know, what do you call it? For the third, he also in episode 1 worked with Andrew Grant. Now, in episode 3, it was Pierce. Can't pronounce that. Shorati or Shorot. In episode 4, it was JT Petty and Eric Stripe. And Perry Shoretti helped with episode 5 as well. So, where they changed the writer, I guess you could say that did happen because it wasn't Andrew Grant, it was Pierce Shorati working with Nick Brecken instead. Now, another reason could be because, well, I don't know, those are really the only 2 reasons I can come up with. So that really brings me over to the final season of episode 4 of The Walking Dead. Now, when Telltale got shut down, it was told that they had gotten through episode 3, right? They'd mostly finished episode 3, and they had started a little on episode 4. Now, Now, since Skybound is now in charge, they've hired all the writers in that. But who's to say they couldn't change the story? Like, take a look at Assassin's Creed Odyssey, for example. I haven't actually played the DLC, but apparently Cassandra or Alexios can have a baby. Now, apparently it's either through love or, like, utilitarian, like with their father, Paphagus, I forget his name. You know what I mean? Because he's 150 in that, and he told Marini that they should make sure that their bloodline continues. Anyway, what I'm saying here is, what do you call it? The choice, you didn't really get a choice in it. The baby was born either way, and everyone hated that. And Ubisoft are changing some scenes in it a bit to make fans happy. So who's this? And it's also achievement names. They're gonna add like apparently new achievements and change achievement names. So who's to say Skybound couldn't do this? They could literally post an update that changes all of the achievement names or adds new ones, you know? So that way Clementine won't die. You know, that's one way to keep her alive, to like by changing the achievement names. I know it's like I keep repeating it. I know it's stupid, but I personally do believe that that can happen. You know, because Robert Kirkman owns The Walking Dead. It's his. If he wants Clementine to live, it's within his power. He can have the writers write that, not have her die, not make that optional. She can just live, and that's why I believe 100% that she's gonna live. You know, just like with Luke and Kenny, we had all this build up, thought there was gonna be a fight in episode 5, never happened. We got the final season here, we got all this build up saying that Clementine will die, first in the promotional trailer, then in the fucking what do you call it? Then we got in episode 3 here, you tell AJ. What did AJ promise? To shoot you or run? That's why I personally believe like it's not gonna happen. You know, due to those reasons. Like, I'm sorry if this isn't being clear enough and I'm talking out my ass, but that's what I believe. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll be uploading another theory video tomorrow. After this, yeah, I gotta, because I'm still editing. Once this is edited and uploaded, I'll be editing my episode 1 video of Life is Strange season 2, or Life is Strange 2 if you want to call it that. Anyways, it's Total Game Junkie signing off.